Thank you for joining us for Chatting in the Void, a conversational podcast hosted by Cthulhu Tilly and Hollick. We are back, Chatting in the Void, episode 18. Sorry,
Just
we
in
took
time.
Yeah. Only 14 minutes late this time. Our schedule seems to be kind of erratic right now, given to quite a few things. But we have the bunny cam today for those who like the bunny cam and are watching on YouTube. But yeah, it's a
Bunny?
good time.
What bunny? All I see here is a furry football.
That is true. It is a furry football. Don't kick it though. It's not one of those kinds of footballs. It's the kind that you set on your mantle. Just observe,
Correct.
But yeah. Anyways, how was your week?
Stressful. It's
Yeah,
been a very stressful week. I figured last week that you probably were having a stressful week too, so that's why I didn't want to be like, hey, I'm gonna do the podcast. Like, no.
Yeah.
I figured something may have happened. Knowing you probably lost a limb or something, and I'm like,
we can talk about that after the podcast. The stuff that happened.
At
least most of it. Yeah.
I want to spoil it. Does it have anything to do with your new relationship?
Yes.
I fucking figured.
Yeah. But I don't really want to get into it on the podcast because it's complicated and yeah. Anyways, I'll leave it at that.
Anyhow, all right.
Anyhow, once again, I don't know if she'll watch the podcast. I know that she's not going to watch it now, but I don't know if she'll watch the podcast. And I don't want to. Yeah,
that bad, huh?
Yeah, I'm not gonna air my dirty laundry for a lot of reasons, but also because it's not bad. It's just it was amenable. We'll say that much, and yeah.
All right.
We can revisit that maybe at another date on another episode of the podcast.
Yeah. When the smoke settles down,
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. That's fair.
So, what happened in your past 2 weeks?
Well, nothing.
Start there.
Nothing nearly as bad as probably what you went through.
Yeah.
Just that I got an email from my the studio that I hired for the VTuber model. And they were like, "Yeah, the artist got COVID. We're gonna delay this for a week, and it's already been a week. I still haven't heard from them."
Oh my gosh.
So I've been doing nothing but catastrophizing on my head all 24/7.
Right. Yeah.
It was like, am I getting scammed? What's going on? And I'm like, probably not getting scammed. But I did send an email being like, hey, can you at least send me something so that I can set up a teaser? And then they haven't replied to me yet either.
Right.
But seeing as how their Twitter and their website is not deleted yet, and the payment was made through a business account in PayPal.
Yeah. So if they don't deliver within like whatever a time window, I don't know exactly what it is. You can always go to PayPal and be like, "Yo, something's wrong. Didn't get my thing." Yeah. So
I am not too worried. It's just such a waste of time if I am getting scammed.
For sure.
But I'm just trying to keep a positive attitude, but boy has it been tough. Yeah. I really wanted to like start playing with a new model by now.
Right.
Looks like I'm gonna have to wait. Hopefully not too much longer.
Right.
So, in the meantime, trying to cope with this stress that I've been getting, I started playing RuneScape again. Not again, for the first time.
Nice.
Yeah, RuneScape.
Creating any monopolies yet?
No. More specifically, OSRS, which stands for Old School RuneScape, which is the 2007 version of RuneScape. And I actually kind of like it. It's a very chill game. The perfect game to put on your screen when you are watching a stream. For example, I've been watching a new Dota tournament, which sorry for my mic, which has been a complete fucking shit show. It's been a complete shit show.
Of course.
I've been laughing at the production quality. Man, this major makes our production quality look professional.
Yeah.
It's been interesting to say.
Really? For like a pro tournament?
For a pro tournament, it is.
That's funny.
God. I've had to like not watch the tournament on Twitch. I've had to get out of Twitch and go watch it on YouTube.
Oh God!
The Twitch keeps like crashing.
Oh man!
Keeps going down, but the YouTube one is stable. And what's funny is that in the YouTube, live stream, they have different casters. They're not broadcasting the same thing. So what's going on is that in Twitch they have like the good casters, and then on the YouTube stream they have like the intern casters that like stay silent for like 10 seconds at a time, even though that's the biggest fucking no-no that you can do as a caster.
Yeah, that's like 10 seconds of dead silence means half the people watching just left. They're not there anymore. God,
it's been such a shit show, like I said, and I've been having fun with that while leveling up my ranging in RuneScape.
Nice.
Currently just hit level 30, which gives me access to, let's see what it says here, maple bows.
Ooh, there you go.
About to buy a maple bow.
About to buy a maple bow? You gonna go to is it still the fucking GE Grand Exchange or whatever it's called?
That's exactly where I am right now.
Oh my God, yeah. Are you gonna go and pay overpriced for a bow, or are you gonna like wait and be patient?
No, because a maple short bow is only like 200 GP.
Oh,
like
what the fuck? Okay.
It's nothing. Look, this game has been figured out, all right?
Okay.
As long as
people have solved it? Okay. They've solved all of the fucking bullshit that I used to exploit? Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now there's different shit, and so the RuneScape kind of split into two now, right? So after 2007, after 2006, 2007, came a big update. I was actually watching a documentary video thing in YouTube about it, and an update came called the Evolution of Combat in RuneScape, which fundamentally changed how the game worked. Right. And ever since then, RuneScape has not even been like the same game. But some people didn't like that. Some people liked it. So it wasn't until a few years ago that they grabbed a 2007 backup of RuneScape and made like the old school server, which funnily enough is now more popular than the actual RuneScape. Right. And then from this branch of the 2007 old school RuneScape, they have actually added more content. So now old school RuneScape from 2007 is split off, and it has its own updates, its own stuff. It even has leagues, new bosses.
Interesting.
Stuff like that.
Interesting. I didn't know. I mean, I knew that they did some kind of like transitionary thing where they like flip-flopped over, but I didn't know that it was that extensive, that it's like they have two dev teams now. I figured it was still just like, I guess that makes sense, but I figured it was still like RuneScape Classic was more like some of the employees were like, we're hobbyists and we want to like bring back old school RuneScape because we like it. But if it's more professional than that, that's interesting. That's cool. I like it. It's a neat idea.
Yeah.
But
yeah, which I think you should come figure out.
Maybe
log in, have fun again. God forbid you play a video game to have fun.
I know. God forbid that I play a video game to have fun, not to make money. Money. But yeah, no, I might download RuneScape Classic and see what the kerfuffle is about. Maybe this weekend.
You should. I am playing it as we speak because It's just, trading in RuneScape is just click every like 10 seconds, watch a number go in the screen, and rinse and repeat. So
rinse and repeat for 97 hours while you listen to an audiobook. That's what I usually do.
Yeah, except now we have become the audiobook.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're the audiobook.
We're the podcast, we're the audiobook.
Yeah,
turn.
That is really cool. I always liked the idea of RuneScape, but I felt like for me, after they did their little, like, I don't know, after they fixed everything in, like, I think it was like RuneScape 3 or whatever, all the stuff that I used to do that was kind of exploitative, they fixed it all, and I was like, all right. Obviously I got banned for like a really long time too, so I didn't want to come back. But yeah, it sounds like a good time. Sounds like a good time.
There's this thing in old school RuneScape now that is called Iron Man. I don't know if you've heard. So when you create a new character, they ask you if you want to make an Iron Man, and what an Iron Man is an account that is locked in a way where you're not allowed to use the GE. You're not allowed to trade with other players, and you're not allowed to use the bank either. Okay. So it's like a real test of like your game knowledge and like stuff like that. I am not an Iron Man, just FYI. Yeah. But since you've already kind of like played this game, maybe you could come back to it, check out the new updates, maybe try it as an Iron Man, see how far you can get before giving up, and etc.
That would be interesting. The game that I've been going back to is I have had a couple of friends who are starting to play League of Legends. And so I have been playing low elo League of Legends. I relapsed.
You need to hit me up. You need to hit me up because I always wanted to play League with friends, not alone. Yeah. Fuck playing that game alone, but I wanted to see what all the fuss is about. So next time you play, you should like.
I've actually been playing with somebody I think you've met, Index Store.
Index, I know Index. For fuck's sakes, we've had like 2 episodes with her.
Yeah, so Index Store is the one who got me back into playing League of Legends. It's all her fault. She wanted to play a game with me, and her computer's kind of crappy, and so we were looking for games that everyone could play, and like the free ones were like Fortnite, Minecraft, and League of Legends. And for some reason she was like, I want to play League of Legends. I want to see what it's all about. And I'm like, oh no. Oh God. So I've been playing low elo, and like I went 18-0 as a brand top laner for all you League players who listen to this, which is stupid good and also not what you're supposed to do. Brand does not go top lane, but I kind of dominated. It's been fun. It's been fun to play in low elo because it's no pressure and nobody gives a fuck, and I can just do whatever the hell I want, and nobody really flames me, and that's fun. It's fun to have a League game where you don't get flamed, because that's really the only problem with it. Like, the game is fun as long as you're not getting flamed, or as long as your teammates don't just completely int. And that happens on occasion, but it is what it is. It's still fairly enjoyable for me, which is a bad thing, because it makes me want to play more, and I don't want to play solo queue, because that's a bad decision. Going down that road is a very
that is a dark road.
That is a dark place.
Once you go in there, you start to question things that perhaps you should not have ever had to question to begin with.
Yeah, it is very true. Good old League of Legends, the dark place, the hell of video games, to be quite honest. But yeah, it's been fun. Been playing a lot of jungle, and I really like jungle. So it's been a good time. That's the old fashioned game that I've been playing, and yeah, I'll hit you up next time we're playing. We might play after this, actually. I don't know. I have to check up with a couple of people to see who wants my time. All right. But yeah, I'll hit you up if you want to join us after this. I think they are playing League, but we'll see if they're still playing after the podcast. Sometimes like 2 hours is not very many League games, but it's a long time to play League, and it gets pretty exhausting. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're done. But yeah.
another free-to-play game that may not be good for like poopy computer people, but it's still really, really fun with friends that actually started playing again. It's called Planetside.
Planetside?
Have I talked about Planetside? Have I ever talked about Planetside? So. Yeah, now I think about it, I've never talked about Planetside. And,
I don't think so.
It is a game that I actually have quite a bit of history with. I believe that's one of the games I've spent the most time in. Top 3 games I've put hours in. And I was looking at my account, and it's north of 5,900 hours on that game. And they say that it takes 10,000 hours to master something. So I'm like halfway there to becoming a Planetside 2 sensei.
Yeah.
And what is really cool about Planetside, it's that, for those that don't know, it is a first-person shooter. But it was one of the first, well, Planetside 1 was the first first-person shooter MMOs. And for a lot of people, that doesn't quite make sense, right? The original Planetside came out in the 2000s, and the way I heard of it is Total Biscuit talked about it like in 2011 about how much how cool of a concept it was. Well, in concept, but the game also had its flaws. But then it started picking up popularity once Total Biscuit started hyping it, because he got contacted by the developers, and then they were like, "Hey, we're actually been working on Planetside 2," and then this whole thing started blowing up. Long story short, the game had its moment in the spotlight, and eventually died out like just any other game. But also, like, it even now, like 10, 11, it's been, oh my god, I can't believe it's been 11 years since 2011. That the game still has like an active community. I like log in, and the server is like, sometimes it's full, like the continent is full. And what I mean by continent, again, like I mentioned before, Planetside 2 is a MMO FPS.
Right.
So the way to think about it is, think Halo. So it's a futuristic sci-fi first-person shooter.
Okay. But
then add Battlefield into it, and instead of it being like a large map, you're playing on like what you think a large map is times 10, and then the server capacity is not 120 people. It's not 150 people. It's 10,000 people per continent.
That's or more, pretty wild.
Actually, I believe, because I was in the event when we did this, Planetside 2 holds the world record for the most players in a first-person shooter at once in one server. And I forget exactly what the number was, but it was a fucking shit show, I'll tell you that much. It was a laggy fucking mess. But we got the world record at the time. It is a game that has a lot of different aspects. It's not just, grab a weapon, grab a kit, pew, 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 pew. No. It's like, obviously there's objective, there's base capturing, there's base building, there is armor gameplay. And the thing that I specialize at, and the thing that I am famous for, or quote unquote famous, or less known for in the community, is that I'm a flyboy. Like I do airships and stuff like that. And it's not like in Battlefield where, anybody can pick up a controller and start flying. It's nothing like that. It is a little arcadey, but the controls are somewhat semi-realistic, let's say.
Okay.
So a lot of people who grab an airplane for the first time, they immediately, they've just crashed like 20 to 30 seconds afterwards, because they think like moving the mouse to the right makes the aircraft move to the right, but that's not how that works at all. So back in 2011, when everybody was shit at the game, nobody knew how to fly, nobody knew how to do anything or understood the game. So the select few people that stuck to it, like put the hours in it and like really, really grinded, getting better at piloting, those people they basically became gods because
Right.
aircrafts were very overpowered back then.
Right. Makes sense.
So, and before people started understanding how to properly use anti-air, how to properly use cover, how to not get your tank blown up for free, before all that happened, I farmed so many experience points, which are called certification points in that game. And I got picked up. I got picked up by the number one air clan, and that's when like we became infamous because basically what happened in our server, which was the biggest server at the time, is that just everybody in our faction. So it's a free for all between 3 teams. So everybody in our team started to learn who like, oh, that guy is good at flying, or that guy is really good at flying, etc., etc. We just grabbed the best pilots, put it in one clan/outfit, and we just rolled out as a crew. And wherever we went, we farmed the absolute living shit out of tanks, infantry, other aircraft. We were uncontested for the longest times.
Nice.
And that's how we became infamous. Our battle cry at the time was QRY, which is the short term for our outfit. So QRY wins again. So we would just go into a hex, blow the shit out of everybody, farm all the fucking infantry on the ground, and then in the chat we would just yell QRY wins again, and we just fly away. And
that's
nobody
awesome.
could do anything about it. It was hilarious. And I'm
great.
pretty sure our clan and a handful of other, really big air clans, we were solely responsible for the main aircrafts being nerfed to the ground.
Right.
Like the 3-man aircraft and the single-man aircraft, they've been nerfed so much over the years. And I'm pretty sure it's because of players from my outfit at the time.
Yeah, the devs being pestered by every player, being like, "Nerf the airplanes; they're too strong. We can't use them because we're not good." Yeah, that's one of the things that definitely like a lot of games struggle with. I know because League struggles with that too. Is like the fact that Azir, for example, is one champion who's really mechanically complicated. For the first 100 hours, 200 hours on him or more, you'll have a 30% win rate. But once you get I think it's 400 games on Azir, that win rate spikes up to nearly 70% because he's just so good and he can do so many different things that once you learn how to play him, it's wild. But you have to learn how to play him, and that's really hard to do. So it's interesting. Yeah, that skill versus power is always hard to balance. But
and the fun thing is, even though I was known for the single ship, like the ESF, which stands for Empire Specific Fighter, right? My most successful runs were always on the Liberator, which is a 3-man aircraft, which oh my god, dude, that thing has been just obliterated in terms of
That's
power.
tragic.
I cannot even begin to describe. If I were to go one by one over each of the nerfs, which I completely understand and remember every single one of those nerfs.
Right.
We would be here all day long, but I'm not gonna do that. But I had such intimate knowledge of how aircraft work in that game, and how to exploit line of sights, how to properly, enter an area and attack it, and get out of it before flak and lock-ons start, going ham at you, etc., etc. That I just very clearly remember step by step how they started nerfing. First, they started nerfing the belly guns. Then they nerfed the nose gun. Then they started nerfing the speed of the aircraft. Then they nerfed how tanky it was. And lastly, they went back and nerfed the belly guns again for a second time. And then a third time later for one specific belly gun. But the last nail on the coffin was the fact that basically they didn't nerf the 3-man Liberator. But what they did is they proxy nerfed it by buffing the absolute living shit out of the ESFs, the single aircraft's ability to destroy ability to destroy liberators. Like,
of course.
oh my god, it is completely unplayable. Like,
right.
I know before what you would do, if you were a really fucking excellent liberator pilot, you didn't even need a gunner. You would just roll out with your single fucking just alone, single man, 3-man aircraft. And what you would do is you would run in, you would line up your aircraft, you would swap seats, go to the gunner seat, use your belly gun and swap back to the pilot seat and continue before you crash. And you had to be obviously really fucking good at the game.
Yeah.
To do this stuff. Not only be an excellent pilot, but you needed to like be an excellent gunner both at the same time. And going back and forwards between the pilot seat, the belly gun, and the tail gun. And then they basically made it unplayable. It's like, solo libs, they can't do shit now. Because one little ESF with that so one person in the ground gets angry at you that you happen to put 3,000 hours on this thing. It's like, no, I'm not gonna let you. Hops on an ESF, puts one gun, and then you're like basically helpless. You're
That's tragic.
Die. It tragic. It is such a fucking like, how would I put it? It's like just slap in the face to the players who put literally thousands of hours into the game. Be like, no man, that guy that you just farmed because you outskilled them, and because you were like, a much more experienced player than him. Nah, fuck that. We don't want you doing that. We don't want you doing that at all. So he can just now grab a starter ship, trial an anti-aircraft gun, and then just kill you in like less than a minute. And there's just basically nothing you can do about it if the person is like half decent. It's so frustrating, man. So I went from being like this air basically god in this game to I just play on the ground. I don't even try to get on the aircraft anymore. It's been so depressing. But long story short, that's another free-to-play game that's really, really fun to play with people.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I think it sounds interesting. It's like multiplayer, large, like it's almost like Tarkov mixed with Halo, kind of. Only with even more players, obviously.
Yeah, I wouldn't compare it to Tarkov. Again, I would do like Battlefield mixed with Halo, because Tarkov is more tactical, it's more slow paced, it's more methodical. Planetside is fucking run at the objective like a maniac, guns blazing, die, and respawn in 10 seconds and do it again.
I see. Yeah. So yeah, lots of fast paced. Cool. Yeah. Tarkov is an interesting game. I haven't actually played it. I have a bunch of people who play it in my life.
I've watched a lot of streams for Tarkov, and it reminds me a lot, and obviously it's inspired on, but it reminds me a lot of the DayZ Arma mod. Not the DayZ standalone, but the DayZ Arma mod. Did you ever play that in the early 2010s?
No.
My God, do I have a story.
I wouldn't have been playing video games at that time, man.
I have a story because
computer.
That was a seminal game. That was a game. There was like a game of games, man. That game inspired so much. But I don't want to rant like about 2 games in a row. I don't know. Do you have anything you want to talk about before I go on another fucking spree about a game?
I mean,
an obscure game
it's a whole other topic. I just wanted to talk about rock climbing. I did a really hard climb this week that I'm really proud of. It's something I've been like projecting for like 3 weeks, and it's wild, and I do a figure 4 in it, and it's just crazy. And I think I posted I'll just do a shout out here. I posted the video of it because I actually had my friend take a video of it in my Discord server and threw some music to it. So anybody who's in the chat should go join my Discord server. It is the link, it's the Discord link in my description below the stream. Go ahead and join there, and you can see that. But yeah, this is really hard, and I hurt myself on it like 2 weeks ago, and my knee is still kind of fucked up from it, but I got it done today, or got it done, I mean Friday, last night, and I felt really proud about it, because it's just like, it feels good, to like accomplish something that I've tried so hard at. And it was just like, that was like the highlight of my week, is like, I did this one thing that I can be proud of and happy about. But yeah, that was pretty much it. But yeah, So what is your story? What is it called? The DayZ DayZ. Yeah, okay. I've heard of this, but I don't think. I mean, like, it was way before my time playing games. So.
Allow me to explain the revolution that was DayZ when it first came out. So a lot of people missed this because this was a very obscure game, right? Arma 3. Right. What is Arma 3? Just a little bit of context for everybody. Arma 3 is a MilSim first-person shooter, created by some company that was somewhat known, but not really until this thing exploded. Right. So it's a MilSim game. And it's super hyper realistic. Like, you have to like put individual bullets on your cartridges, kind of like Tarkov before Tarkov. Like that. The point of the game was not to be super hype Call of Duty action. No, it's just like tactical MilSim kind of thing.
Yeah, right? An actual. So, I think it was the first in like the actual really tactical military simulator where you really actually want to think and you have to actually kind of be smart about the things that you do. As far as I know, I'm sure there were others before it that were trying to acquire that, but it was the first one that I feel like actually, from what I know of it, actually got to the point where it was like you actually had to think. You couldn't just build and rush in type thing. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could. It's just that it would be harder because, you know, your character is clunky. You know, it's trying to represent an actual person. You get shot once, you're basically done for, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
And well, what happens is that Arma was, you know, being Arma, having fun on its own little corner, when some guy decided to add zombies to it. And then they decided to add survival elements to it and called it a mod. And some YouTubers started picking up on it, and they made a lot of, you know, videos on it, etc., etc. And that's where it exploded. It became a YouTube phenomenon, like any of the big games. And I started watching it. I started playing it. You know, I actually dropped $27 at the time, and I was like, "Oh, this actually looks really, really cool." And I cannot even begin to describe to you the emotional fucking roller coaster that I had gone through. Now, my best friend at the time, who I haven't spoke to in a while, but I still consider my best friend, Scott. I convinced him to play this shit with me too.
Right.
And for those that don't know, it is such like a realistic game. Even before they added the survival elements, so you had to get water, you had to hydrate yourself, and you had a food kind of counter thing too, so you would go hungry. But the problem was not so much finding resources; it was just the sheer size of the map. And we're talking about kilometers by kilometers. Size of map. All right. Number one. Number two is that there's realistic day and night cycles. Right. So if you logged into the server and it happened to be the dead of night, well, the scenario of the map that you're playing, it happens to be like some out of the way Russian / industrial small town that is basically 99% forest, 1% buildings.
Right.
So I first tried to log in and play with my friend, I logged in and I thought that my game was glitched because it was just a pitch fucking black screen.
Right.
I couldn't see anything. And I was like, oh, what's going on? I was like, and then I realized, oh, it's just nighttime. And
I can't see anything. I'm blind. It must be glitched.
Wait,
no, it's just dark. And like real life, if it's dark and there's no light, we can't see.
You can't see. I know, what a concept, right?
Yeah, it like you would think that would make sense, but in video games, that's not true. Like even in Minecraft, even if it's really dark, usually you can
still
kind of at
see.
least see what's going on. And so it's like, yeah, I definitely think at that time too, that was probably really new. Like there are a lot of horror games now that play off on that are like the nighttime means it's actually night and like you can't see shit. But back then there wasn't a lot of games that were implementing that realistic level of mechanics. So it's that
it was a first. But it was definitely a shock, and it was definitely a first for a mainstream, quote unquote, a mainstream game, because it did become mainstream when it blew up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm trying to play, and eventually I give up. And I'm like, all right, let's swap servers, right? So we swap servers, and we find like an Asian server, like a 300 ping, but at least it's fucking daytime and we can see shit, right? So we start playing. Now here's the problem number 2. When you spawn into a server for the first time, you get placed in a random location across the coastline of the game, which eventually became like a feature of this zombies horror kind of game. Like now every zombie horror shooter that you play, you spawn on the beach. That's because Arma did that first. That's something that Arma did, or the Arma mod. Anyways, the next problem was that we needed to learn how to read a fucking map. So we went online, we looked up a map of the mod, and then we actually had to learn how to read a map IRL to try to find out where the fuck we were, to even try to like play with one another.
Right.
And let me tell you, man, that took a long time.
Yeah.
It took a very, very long time.
Right.
But eventually we persisted. You know, we're gamers. We're figuring it out. After like an hour and a half, straight up an hour and a half, we finally figured out where we were, and we started running at each other. Right. Eventually we find each other, but here's the thing: we're freaking out. We're freaking out. You might think, why are you freaking out? Well, we're freaking out because we're playing this dumbass DayZ mod, and the number one like thing you need to be worried about in the original DayZ mod back then wasn't the zombies. You know, if you aggroed a zombie, the first time it would be fucking scary. Right. I'll get back to that in a moment. But the number one thing was other players. That was actually one of the coolest things about the DayZ mod. And again, it was the social aspect of it. Yeah. And everybody was out on their own, you know? And ammunition and weapons, they were actually rare items. So if you found someone with a pistol, you were hiding on a bush until that person fucking left, right? Right. Because nobody knew where the weapons were. Nobody knew nothing. And if you found a weapon, you were fucking lucky, right? Like if you found an axe, like a wood cutting axe, you were basically a god, you know, at the beach. Right. You're just like chopping people left and right. So that was the problem. So we finally found each other out, but we're freaking out. I was like, "Is that you? Is that you?" Right? Like we were so on edge from like trying to sneak around, trying to not aggro both zombies and other players, that we were like, it took us like a minute to like be like, okay, that's you, that's me. All right, cool. We can continue. And again, we were still on edge, and that was one of the cooler things about DayZ back then, because it was so new. The whole experience was new. The whole concept was new. The whole mechanical thing, the whole realism thing was new. I couldn't help myself, and my friend also couldn't help himself. We were just on fucking edge, man. Like a fucking twig would break behind us, and we were like, what the fuck was that? You know? Yeah. Anyways, we get our bearings. And we start gaming. We start going, trying to figure things out. And this is when I'm going to explain the zombies. All right? Right. They were fucking horrifying. Right. Not because the models looked like realistic. No, they look like shit. The game looks like complete garbage. It wasn't because of that. It was two things. It was the the noise they made, like the sound effects that they had,
Right.
it was actually really good. That was one.
Good sound
2,
design. Solid.
good sound design. Yeah, and the other thing was, dude, every zombie in that game is a fucking marathon professional gold medalist. All right.
Yeah.
If you got lucky and you found a handgun, it didn't mean that you will go all willy-nilly and start killing motherfuckers. Because first of all, you spawn the handgun and you barely have like a single magazine worth of bullets, and then that's it.
Right.
But if you fired the gun in a crowded area, you were dead.
Right.
You were dead. Because you would alert every zombie in like 100-meter radius around you. And all of a sudden, you have 20 fucking athletes sprinting at you non-stop. And you only had 7 bullets on your magazine. If you were the god of aiming, you would get 7 zombies down. And then the other 13 would just eat you alive. And that was it. You were dead and everybody near you was also dead.
Yeah.
So when you hear a gun go off, you wouldn't just like freak out because, oh shit, I'm getting shot or I'm about to get shot. You were like, oh shit, all the zombies in the area are now running in that direction, and if I'm caught in between, if you're caught in between, you're dead.
Yeah,
you're dead because you're fucking dead. If you get injured in that game, it has like a realistic kind of like damage system. So if you got injured, well, you don't have bandages, you don't have blood transfusions, you don't have anything because you're an idiot, you're a noob, you don't know what you're doing. If you were bleeding, that's it, you were basically dead.
Right.
If a zombie so much as like touched you twice, sure, you could kill the zombie, but then now you're bleeding, now you're sick, now you're dead. You cannot sprint because for some reason your leg won't work anymore, and you're dead. So the game was very like stealth based, and it was very like spooky in that sense. You had to be on edge all the time. So you had to play against the zombies, play against the survival elements, play against the fucking map, figuring out where the fuck you were, because again, you were new, you didn't know where you were, you didn't know the map, and you were scared shitless. If you turned the corner and you found someone, it wasn't like the casual, hey man, are you friendly? It's like, no, you're like, oh fuck, run. Because you didn't have time. If that person had a gun and you spooked him and then they fired it, you were both fucked. If that person just happens to be also geared, you're also fucked. And again, if they touch you and so much, even if they just had an axe and they made you bleed, you were dead. Because all the big supplies, the medicine supplies, were in the big industrial part of the map, where there is like 5 zombies in every corner. You can't do shit. Everybody's running at that area. It's super high traffic area. No. You were scared shitless of everything and anything in that game.
Yeah. Like I mean, like, I don't know. I think 7 Days to Die used to be that way. It isn't really anymore. But that's another game that apparently now, I was just looking it up because I was curious, but it's like those were 2 games that like took the first person shooter aspect and then meshed it with the survival aspect. Was the DayZ mod and 7 Days to Die, which ironically enough, both came out in 2013. And I can't help but ignore the fact that like Minecraft came out in 2011, which really like inspired those survival-esque games because it had some really solid survival mechanics in it in terms of requiring food and requiring health management and all sorts of stuff like that. Obviously, it's really simple and easy in Minecraft, and they took it and made it more complicated and realistic because that was their goal. But it's just really interesting that it's like Minecraft comes out in 2011, and then in 2013, 7 Days to Die and the DayZ mod and Don't Starve come out, and How to Survive and Project Zomboid, which are now like obviously like those are games that people probably know, even though they've been around for almost a decade. They're still going, which is wild to me, right? Because like the DayZ mod obviously then got turned into a full game later that was inspired by that. But like, you know, Project Zomboid, I know I've heard of that before. I know Don't Starve, obviously, because DST was like a huge thing. And then, of course, 7 Days to Die is still absolutely going, and a lot of people play it, which is really interesting. I wonder where Rust came out in this. I'm going to see if I can find
Rust
that.
Rust did came out, yeah. Rust was one of those games that was born from this DayZ hype. Because DayZ, for a good, solid, like, few months, it became a complete, total YouTube phenomenon. And then eventually, Rust was spawned from it. And it was inspired by the DayZ mod, and it had its own little like quirks and different things. It was more cartoony in a sense. It was more casual. It was not as realistic and hardcore. But the thing that Rust did to spice things up that really attracted a lot of players was that it was just like the DayZ mod, but you could build. You could build your own base. And then it became its own thing, and it blew up from there. But I'm telling you, man, there's nothing, and there will never be anything like the DayZ mod when it first came out. Because why? Because now everybody understands that kind of game. Whenever you go and play into the DayZ mod, guess what? The game is figured out. Everybody knows where the shit is. Everybody knows how to build. Everybody knows how to manage their resources. Everybody has bases, clans, weapons, ships, cars, etc. But I feel very lucky that I did experience like DayZ during those first couple months, man, because it was something that was very unique. It was very, very different. And just to like end my story, it was it was nighttime, right? But my friend and I, Scott, we had found enough gear. We had found a couple handguns, a shotgun, and then we hit the absolute motherload. Scott finds a ghillie suit. Let me tell you, man. We were walking at night to another city. We were going deeper into the map, trying to go to the airfields, to the military bases that were deeper inside the map. And I couldn't follow him. I couldn't follow him. We were literally 5-7 feet away from each other, and I had like my brightness all the way maxed out so that I could see where I was walking, and I could kind of see what was going on. But if that man stopped and stood still in the grass just for a moment, I couldn't see him. He could be 2 feet away from me. I couldn't see him.
That's awesome.
It was the single most overpowered item in the game. And my God, we had so much fun when we found the ghillie suit.
Yeah.
It's like I would like I would like start firing shots, and then we would like aggro some players at us, but then he would just stand in the tall grass, crouch in the tall grass, and he would just be invisible completely. And he would tell me exactly where everybody was, and nobody could see him. And then we would just like ambush players. It was
That's awesome.
So fucking hilarious.
That's
sadly, we were like, well, it was kind of late. We have been playing with the ghillie suit for like 3 hours straight, right? And we chew a little bit too much more than we could chew. We aggroed a little too much mini zombies. We were close to a town. We were about, I want to say, 100 feet away from like the edge of town, hiding in the tree lines. But we started firing at a group of players, and we didn't notice that from like our flank, a group of like 7 zombies, flanked us. They sprinted at us. They broke Scott's legs, and that was it, man. That was the end.
That's the end. That's the end of the good run. God, that's tragic. Yeah, that is definitely, that sounds like a DayZ story. Just like, we were doing great, and then we made one little mistake, and we were dead. Yeah, for sure.
It was the most fun I've ever had. And we were laughing. I was laughing so much. Again, we were walking between towns, so we were like, all right, man, I'm looking at you straight. I see you because he's moving. Right. Stop and crouch. And then he would stop and crouch. Like, I don't know where you are, man. You're fucking invisible. It was so funny.
Dude, I wish more games would have ghillie suit stuff like that. Making stealth mechanics viable in games. That's my favorite.
Stealth was the name of the game back then.
Yeah, that is one of the things that tilts me so bad about Dead by Daylight now, is they have removed stealth mechanics entirely. They made all the maps so bright, all of the like mechanics are so aggressive, even for survivors, that it's not even really like a scary horror game anymore. Because like they just have so many utilities to just run away and escape, and you don't even, they really nerfed a lot of the killers and stuff like that, and then the killer mains get mad, and then instead of buffing the killers, they release a new OP killer who then gets nerfed a few months later. But yeah, I like Dead by Daylight's idea, but gosh, I wish that they would bring back stealth as a mechanic for survivors. Make them make them required to think and be careful to win games, not just be crazy and aggressive. But yeah, man, I like games where stealth is actually like a viable component, which is interesting because like that's actually one thing that I have to say. I feel like League kind of does well, although it's not really stealth. It's just fog of war, right? So everybody has stealth. But it's like, yeah, you have to think, you have to have map awareness, you have to like be observing what's going on, understand the game state. And gosh, I wish more games would lean into that type of mechanic, not necessarily as like League does, but at least like lean into the idea of stealth and requiring people to kind of think and be sure of their surroundings before making an action. I don't know if Tarkov does that at all. Most of the clips of Tarkov that I've seen have just been funny ones, because that's most of the content that I consume is just funny content. So
it's the same thing with Tarkov. It's the same thing in a sense with DayZ mod, where at first it was a very tense, very tactical, and it still is a very tense and tactical game. But now people are starting to figure it out, or I would go as far as say people have already figured out the game. So now it's less tactical, it's less tense, and it's more like, all right, you have to just know what to do, where to go, what to get, and how to shoot, and then that's it.
Right.
But Tarkov, at least at first, from what I can tell, it is kind of like, it has that essence of the original DayZ mod when it first came out, where everything is scary, everything is tense. At any fucking moment's notice, you could just be murdered out of left field, So, I would recommend it. I think if you like stealth, you should play Tarkov, because that is basically the name of the game.
Yeah. I might pick up Tarkov. I have a friend who is wanting me to get what's it called? Gun. Shoot, I'd have to look it up again. It's like gun or something reloaded. Fuck. Well, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about too, but I can't recall the name either.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to find it here, but he's really into it. It looks really fun. There's apparently a really good multiplayer mode on it, and it looks really cool. It has a lot of really unique guns, which I like. That's really what drew me to Destiny 2 and Warframe and stuff like that, is this idea of like unique, interesting, and crazy weapons. It's also the same thing that keeps on bringing me back to like Borderlands and stuff like that. It's just the crazy weapons, the crazy fun mechanical weird weapons. But yeah, it's not Wild Guns Reloaded, is it? I don't think so.
It sounds something like that, yeah.
It does. This doesn't look right though, but it might be. I don't know. Let me see. I know that he got it on Steam. Yeah, no, definitely not Wild Guns Reloaded. But yeah, very interesting game. So I might get that one, but I'm gonna be honest. The trips that I've taken, plus buying a car, plus all that stuff, my bank account is like on the rocks. So I'm like in the mode of like, nope, I need to save money, not spend money. So probably not yet. Maybe in a couple months I'll buy Tarkov and mess around with it and see what it's like, because it seems like a fun game. It seems like an interesting game mechanically. But is it free? I don't think it's free. I think it costs money.
No,
right?
Tarkov is pay to play.
Okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, it looks really fun. I have a couple of friends who are really into it. A couple of coworkers who are really into it too, who really like the mechanics in it, and they like playing MilSims like that. One of them is actually, one of my coworkers is I don't know if I'm really supposed to talk about this. I don't know in much detail, and I won't spill too much, but he is working with some game developers. He does digital artwork, and his main thing is he does like textures and stuff like that for Unity. He's really fucking good.
Okay.
And he is working with a group of developers who are making a tank MilSim. So it's going to be like, you need an actual team to play the game. Like, what's that? There's a space fighting game like that, where it requires like elite. I don't know if it's Elite Dangerous. I think it's something else. I can't remember the name of it, because it's not. It's like it's very old fashioned graphics, but it's like it requires like 4 people, because you have to have like a gunner, an engineer, a pilot,
maybe
and a captain.
Space Engineers.
It might be Space Engineers. I don't know. I played it at one point with some friends. I played gunner. I did really good, and then we were done, and we never played it again. But it's going to be like that, but for tanks, and like realistic. So it's like you have to have like somebody who reloads the gun, and you have to have somebody who drives the tank, and you have to have somebody who aims and shoots and stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool. Like the idea of like an actual real tactical military simulator that's tank focused, kind of like what's the tank game? Is it World of Tanks? I know there's World of Warships, but I think it is just World of Tanks. It's gonna be like World of Tanks, but instead of like one person in a tank, it's like 3 people in a tank actually doing like tank things, and having to learn how to actually like drive a tank and do all that stuff. So I thought that was really an interesting idea. I don't know. I'll definitely, like, if I ever get a beta of it, I might stream it, just because like that would be wild. And I don't know, if I can like get a couple of friends to play with me, I'll shoot you a message if it ever comes out and be like, yo, want to play this stupid crazy complicated game with me, where we actually have to like drive a tank as though it's a real tank. But yeah,
stupid complicated games, dude. For fuck's sakes. I played Path of Exile for like 2,000 hours.
Yeah, definitely not me and you into the complicated games with me, with like over 1,000 hours in Warframe and over 1,000 hours in League of Legends. God. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that would be really fun. But yeah, I like MilSims. I wish there were more of them that were more realistic. I don't like games like games where it's like one shot kill. That's what I like.
I mean, Arma 3 is still going. It's still a thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like in the Arma games, this is what I've seen, and maybe I'm just seeing like high level play, but like it's not like what really draws me to Tarkov is the fact that like there are a lot of guns in Tarkov where headshot means just dead. Like, and there's nothing you can do as a player. Like, if somebody shoots you in the head because they're good at aiming and they're good at what they're doing and they played smart, you're dead, and there's nothing you can do about it. I like that. I like that idea of like, because I'm also obviously, because like I'm good with guns in real life too, so I like doing things like that. I just don't know. I also don't know. I need to actually look into Tarkov and see if it's like hit scan.
It's not hit scan. No.
Okay, cool.
Planetside is not hit scan either.
Cool. Okay,
FYI.
that's good. I don't like hit scan always bothers me. I can never get comfortable with hit scan because I'm always leading. No matter what I do, I'm always leading. And it's just like that's built into me. So when something's hit scan and I'm not supposed to lead, I have a hard time. Playing. Like I don't know why. I'm like terrible. Like if I play Overwatch, right?
Like, it really sounds like you need to download Planetside because that's free to play. You don't have to invest anything.
Yeah, I might. I'm just absolutely garbage with like Soldier and his guns. I can't do it. I can't do the hit scan. I need a projectile that I can like aim and lead and shit like that. So yeah, we'll see. I might download Planetside and play some. But yeah, it sounds like a fun game. I like that idea. Did you ever play Doom?
Yeah.
Like the old-fashioned Doom, not the new one.
Yep. Yeah,
the old-fashioned Doom. Okay, cool, good. That was a fun game.
It was in an episode of with one of your guests.
Yeah.
I talked about how it's like one of my OG games that got me into gaming.
Cool.
It's Doom, Quake, Half-Life 1.
Yeah, I knew Quake. I didn't know Doom, but yeah. Gosh, old games, man. I wanted to play Quake so bad, but I didn't have a computer that could. My computer wouldn't run it. So I never played Quake. Man. Do you remember Evolve? Did you ever play any Evolve? I think we've talked about this before, actually.
I didn't play it, but I know the game.
Yeah, gosh. That's a dead game now, which is kind of tragic. It was really cool. I don't know why. A lot of asymmetrical games die like that. But I guess just a lot of games die these days. I was doing Lawbreakers. Did you ever play any Lawbreakers before it died?
No.
Oh,
I think I know which one that is.
Man, that was a good, fast-paced first-person shooter. That one was like it was like Quake fast-paced, but like with gravity messing around and stuff like that. It was cool. Like you could move fast. It was like a PvP first-person shooter that was balanced, mixed with Warframe's movement capabilities. Man, it was fun. Like you could just jump around and go places, and like there was a character with like a grappling hook that allowed you to like just move around the map like crazy. And they had all these game modes that were really fun, and it's really sad that it died. The developers had to give up on it because they just couldn't get enough support and stuff like that. But yeah, it's interesting. What's your favorite first person shooter, do you think?
Oh my god, I have so many. In terms of single player, in recent times, Dune 2016 by far has been one of the best. In terms of more classic, I have a special place in my heart for Painkiller. Game's fucking cool.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that one.
In terms of multiplayer shooters, obviously there's Planetside, which I always go back to. Can't quit it. The other one, in terms of like my guilty pleasure kind of first-person shooter, is Killing Floor 2. That game will never not be installed in my hard drive because some days, man, you just need to blow something up with a double-barreled shotgun, you know?
True.
And there's no game that does it better than Killing Floor 2.
Did you stream KF2 in a Discord at one point?
I think I did.
In
the God server?
No, not in the Gods. It would have been in WeWoo. It would have been in Kato's server. Because I'm not in the God server, remember?
Yeah.
But yeah, so because I feel like I watched a bunch of people playing KF2 in Kato's server, and I wanted to join, but I didn't have KF2 installed at the time. I think I own it.
Yeah, that was us.
I think I own it, but I didn't. But I didn't get it downloaded in time to play. I like to play. Sure. I like to play KF2 sometime because I've never played it. I've never played that. I don't play many first-person shooters. I'm not as good at them as I would like to be.
With Killing Floor, you don't need to be good.
Yeah, it's kind of like Borderlandsy in that way.
Correct. Yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
to be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're really that worried about accuracy, just play the explosive class or the shotgun class.
Yeah.
Or
Explosive class seems my style.
or the flamethrower guy.
Oh, that seems way more my style. I'm down with flamethrower. Let me burn some shit.
Of course.
Yeah, fire. Fire. Anyways, yeah. In other news, I got emotes.
Oh?
I don't know if you saw them in the Discord. They're in the Discord. They're not on Twitch yet because I'm not, affiliated. Come on, people, follow. Just kidding.
What you need is like 200 follows?
Yeah, I think 100. I think just 100 followers, and then I can start doing stuff like that. Or maybe it's just 50. I can't remember. I cannot remember. I need to go look at the Twitch panel to see how many it is. I felt like I was like halfway there, and I think I'm at like 27 now. So I think I think it's like 50. Anyways, yeah. So that eventually they'll be on my Twitch, but also I am getting an artist friend to do an overlay, so I'll have something a little bit less thrown together here shortly. I don't know when it'll be done. I'm once again, like we talked about working with artists before, and the artists that I have, they were like, hey, I messaged them and they were like, I'm so sorry. I went to my grandparents and I was spending time with them, and I was like, no problem. I'm so sorry I'm not getting this done in a timely manner. And I'm like, do not worry. That is fine. It is not urgent. This is no problem. Just take your time, do whatever you need to do, whatever. Especially because this is an artist that I know, and I know their art style is fucking amazing. And it's going to be, obviously, it's going to be tentacle themed, and it's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be great. I'm already excited, and I haven't even seen any like previews or anything like that. Just because I know it's going to be awesome.
It pains me to hear you like that, because that's exactly how I was about my model, and then this shit happened.
I know. Yeah,
week.
I know. I know. Well, I'm kind of pseudo in the same boat, because I'm just like, I just got to be patient. It'll get done. I trust him. But yeah.
I'm having trust issues over here. But
yeah. The artist who did the emotes, you should go follow them. They're on Instagram, and I'll actually get their Instagram real quick so I can shout it out. Who did my emotes? And it's Buggo Potato, and my goodness. First of all, like 24-hour turnaround. Like instant. It was great. Of course, I'm easy to work for because they're just like, do what you want. And then they did it. And I was like, this is awesome, because they're awesome. But yeah, like 24-hour turnaround, which was great. A little bit like, I don't know. $25 in emotes seems like way reasonable to me. But I don't know. I know that most artists are underpaid, so
that's the bulk price. Like if you do emotes in bulk, you can get them with $25.
Yeah. So I got.
But
I
if
got
you want
three.
if you want like the real custom stuff, then you're looking at $25 per emote. That's what I paid. I paid $80 for my 5 emotes too.
Yeah, I paid $75 for 3.
And that's
that's for 3. So.
That's the low end for sure.
Yeah, which is what I thought, and it was just like, yeah, and I mean obviously the quality is awesome, and they did a really amazing job. So Buggo Potato on Instagram, really awesome. I don't know. Last time I checked, they still had commissions. No, it looks. Commissions are open. It looks like commissions. I don't know if this means. Yeah, I think it is commissions open 5 out of 5. So I think they're still looking for 5 more commissions. But yeah, I'm not sure. Awesome though. She's awesome. Does a really good job. Very, very, very impressive artist, and all of her art on her Instagram is really clean. So if you're listening and you're looking for somebody to do any commissions, she doesn't just do emotes. She also does just generic art for commission. So if you're looking for somebody to draw you something, go look her up. Amazing stuff. anyways, yeah, that one was really cool, but that was like a couple weeks ago. I think that was like right after the last podcast we recorded 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I'm going to see about getting a guest next week. I think I know who I'm going to ask to be on next week already and see if they're available. So yeah, that'll be funny. It's going to be Trash Wakun, who the episode that you weren't in, Holic, that's going up tomorrow night. It's already edited. It's ready to go. Little J, one of the people who was in the episode with me, was actually in their, like, they have they had a podcast for a while, the Trash Wakun podcast, that was hosted in VRChat. And so they have a custom world in VRChat.
Oh, sick.
And so
that is so smart. Why didn't we think of that?
Because I'm not good enough to make worlds.
No, but
making worlds are expensive.
We could have just found like a nice like cafe world and done the podcast there. You know,
it is true. I mean, it's still an option to do at some point.
Still an option, yeah. But I already like put my VR headset on the closet because I'm done with VRChat for now. Oh my god, VRChat! We're gonna have to touch on that subject after your.
Oh yeah. I think we have some news there that'll be interesting. And I can go ahead and do some light rumor clearing too, just to talk about it, because fuck. Anyways, so the whole episode, they're in the background is just a Twitch link to one of my friends that Little J doesn't know who they are, never met them before. So it's like one of my friends, he ended up in Trash's world, in Wakun's world, without knowing it, and was unknowingly shouting out another one of my friends who I had talked with previously about being on the podcast. And they were like all for it, like hell yeah. So I thought it was really funny anyway. So like after that episode, I went into a voice chat with Wakun and was like, yo, want to come on the podcast now that we've already shouted you out on the podcast like twice now. But yeah, anyways, I thought that was pretty funny. VRChat. Holy cow. Some news there. Yeah, do you want to explain how up to date are you on it? Because I've read a bunch on it.
I'm going to give you the context of what I understand. I browse Reddit, and one of the subreddits that I browse is the VRChat subreddit.
Yep.
And all the information that I've gotten is from the Reddit. So it's probably very skewed, but I get the gist of what's going on.
Okay.
For those that don't know, there was an update in VRChat, or a couple updates, I should say. The main thing that they did, and the controversial thing about it, is that they effectively banned mods.
Correct.
In VRChat.
Yep.
All right. Would you care to explain what is the purpose of mods?
So, first of all, I'll explain one thing, which is they implemented something that was actually created by the same people who made Fortnite, good old Epic Games. So they implemented what's called EAC, which is an easy anti-cheat that Epic developed for Fortnite, actually, and a couple of their other games in PvP games, so that they couldn't add mods to the game, they couldn't change the source code of the game to make it do what they wanted, so that they could remove a lot of vulnerabilities in PvP games that a lot of games have struggled with over the years. Almost every single game that is a PvP game has some version of this in one way or another. And so they implemented easy anti-cheat by Epic. And what that has done is obviously it means you can no longer inject DLLs into VRChat, which is how 99% of VRChat mods functioned. It would inject DLLs. It would basically change system files of VRChat, change source code files of VRChat to add additional features. Now, the reason why they're doing this is because there are quite a few mods and modded clients to VRChat that could do some very dangerous things, i.e., I know a couple of hackers who had the capability of doing things like pulling information off of Quest headsets. So like they could record off of other people's headsets and do wild shit like that, where it's like it's really whack. Some of these stuff that these mods could do was really like dangerous almost, as in breaking privacy laws and stuff like that, getting information out of VRChat that they shouldn't have been able to get. But one of the biggest things about this, and the reason why the community is in such an uproar about this, is because with the exclusion of those few hackers that did stuff like that, the majority of the VRChat mods were quality of life improvements. They were things that allowed easier access to certain utilities, that allowed people to do things that wasn't in main VRChat. But it wasn't exploitative. It was just like allowing people to do things like interact with dynamic bones in different ways. So it's like all of the mods that allowed you to like grab people and move them around, no longer able to be there. That was a huge thing in VRChat, just for jokes, for funny things, for content, which obviously is a huge part of the thing. Is like it's all about interacting with people. So a lot of the mods were essentially mods that enhanced your ability to interact with other people. All of those are now banned as well. And of course, VRChat, the developers have been like, well, tell us what mods you want to implement and we'll try to implement them. But there are thousands of mods for VRChat. There's no way they can implement them all, and there's absolutely no way they can implement any number of them in a reasonable amount of time. So that's what really bothers people. The other thing that really bothers people about it is the fact that the main like VRChat hacking that happened was crashing mods, or was crashing people using crasher avatars. Easy anti-cheat doesn't solve that. It doesn't fix that problem. The crashers are still out there and they still work just as good as they did before. And the reason why is because the way that the crashing works is about exploiting a Unity bug that allows people to upload a shader that won't functionally be processed by other computers and other users. So essentially they turn off all avatars, they jump into that avatar. The shader isn't loaded on their computer, but anybody who has all avatars on, or has their avatar on specifically, gets crashed because the shader doesn't load properly and it crashes the whole game. That vulnerability is still 100% of the game, and there's no way to patch that because it is not a vulnerability in VRChat. It is a vulnerability in Unity. It's literally in the source code of Unity that's what allows them to do that. So there's no way to fix that. It's always going to be around for as long as VRChat is on Unity. And it will always be on Unity because it's a community developed game, and Unity is really the only software that functionally allows for community development in the way that VRChat wants it to be. So really, no way that's going away. It's always going to be that way because Unity can't patch it, because it's not something that they care about, because it's pretty much only a bug in VRChat. Anyways, the other problem here, of course, and this is the bigger problem, which is the hackers who are actually doing nefarious things through modding the VRChat client. Well, easy anti-cheat isn't going to solve that either, because they just see it as a challenge to figure out a way to get around it, which is already something that we know exists, because hacking is something that exists in all of these games. There are still hackers that exist in Rainbow Six Siege, which I believe uses, I don't think it's easy anti-cheat. It might be EAC. I'm not sure. I know that our R6 Siege has an anti-cheat. I don't know which one it is. I know that Fortnite has an anti-cheat, but there are hackers who have gotten around it already. So this is not really going to solve anything. Really, all it's doing is it's making the quality of life mods go away, and maybe making the dangerous, actually exploitative mods go away for 6 to 8 months while the developers figure out how to get around easy anti-cheat. And now, you know, it becomes this forever tackling back and forth that hacking turns into, because this is just what it does, right? Is easy anti-cheat. Well, now VRChat gets involved with Epic Games. They have to constantly be communicating with Epic Games about what exploits are out there, and now they're going to be constantly having to add that onto their workload of trying to patch and bug fix easy anti-cheat as well, because there have already been problems with easy anti-cheat blocking legitimate systems. So systems that are not modded have issues, like the system will have corruption, and then people can't load VRChat and they have to repair their whole VRChat and stuff like that. That easy anti-cheat is already hitting as well. So it's like there's also a couple of bugs that I know of in easy anti-cheat with certain systems, with certain hardware compatibility, where it just won't work properly and it won't let them launch games, because I have a couple of friends who can't play Fortnite because easy anti-cheat doesn't work on their computers. It just won't, for whatever reason. There's another bug in easy anti-cheat, and this is, obviously one of the big ones, which is easy anti-cheat also checks Windows services to make sure that there aren't any unknown services running. And it might prevent you from launching a game if you have custom services, standalone services, or services for other things that are running on your computer. It may not prevent, or it may prevent you from being able to log into VRChat because of those. In addition to that, sometimes DLLs will get corrupted by Microsoft updates. Literally, Windows updates can fuck stuff up. And so VRChat has also added easy anti-cheat in the way that it's going to be checking that. And so even if your Windows updates get corrupted, which as an IT guy, I can tell you happens quite often, that can prevent VRChat from launching. It can prevent Fortnite from launching. And so all of these different bugs are going to stack up and add on to each other. And I mean, I know for a fact, I think last time I checked, VRChat, after they implemented easy anti-cheat, lost something like 14,000 daily players, where it's like people just stopped playing.
Yeah, because I could totally imagine once you have your mods, it was like you have your setup, you have your thing, you have the thing, your UI the way you like it, you have everything the way you like it, and then they take that away from you, and that was basically all of the experience. That was the fun for you, having everything set up the way that you want it. It's like you're playing an MMO, right? You have your inventory the way that it is, and then Blizzard comes along and it's like, you know what? No, we're redoing the banks and we deleted your entire inventory in the process. So enjoy.
Yep.
Who wouldn't quit after that?
And I mean, a lot of the mods, so AMD FSR, and I think there's a similar one for NVIDIA and a similar one for Intel. They were all mods that were focused on quite literally fixing sloppy code in VRChat that made it run slower. So they were mods that were intended with speeding up the frames of VRChat, because VRChat is, by the way, a shittily coded game. And so there were people who came in who optimized VRChat for them, for the developers of VRChat, added it as a mod, and now those don't work either. So there are people running archaic systems who probably can't even run it well anymore because VRChat updated, added the easy anti-cheat, and they can't run AMD FSR anymore, and now they can't run it on their headset. They can't even run it on their headset because their system doesn't have the hardware compatibility to do that. So it's also adding that into it as well, which is just another layer of annoying, right? It doesn't affect me because I don't really play VRChat, but it's something that I hear people talking about all the time because I'm in the community still, and I talk to a lot of people who play VRChat regularly, and it's just, the community is very upset about it. I don't think I've talked to a single person who's on board with this in the VRChat community, or even I don't think I've talked to a single person who's even just apathetic about it. There are people who are still playing the game because they love the game, but all of them are frustrated that they can't use their mods, because I think literally I met probably 60, 70 people through VRChat, including Deity, who I think is still listening in the chat. I met him through VRChat, and I don't really go on VRChat anymore. I don't know if he does either. I haven't seen him on in a while just because I haven't been on VRChat. I interact with him mostly through Discord. But out of the people that I met on VRChat and talked to about it, I think almost 70 to 80% of them were playing VRChat modded. Unless they were a questie. The only people I knew who weren't modding it were questies because they couldn't. And if they didn't, or if they could have, they would have, because it added a lot of quality of life features. And so it's very, 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 very controversial, very complicated, very messy. And I mean, like, I can see why they would do it, because I think part of the thing that they're worried about is the fact that nowadays
it's probably more like a PR thing too. It's like they can't advertise the game when it's so clear that it's so exploitable, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, there were exploits, don't get me wrong. Like I said, like, there were definitely nefarious people using exploits in VRChat to do things that they weren't supposed to be able to do. I know a couple of them who did some very fishy things, but at the same time, I feel like the number of those that I met and interacted with, even though, like, I'm fairly well, not known, but fairly well seated in the hacking community, in the essence of I'm in places where I hear about these kinds of things. And this is the other thing that I wanted to talk about, which is kind of like dispelling a couple of rumors. Yeah, I mean, like, the hackers that actually do nefarious things and actually have tools, this isn't going to stop them. It's going to maybe delay them by a little bit, but it's not going to stop them. They're going to figure out a way around it, because that's what they fucking do. That's like their whole thing, is they figure out a way around it. So, I mean, and that's just the hacker's mentality. That's the hacker's heart, is you put a wall up. My job is to figure out either whether I need a ladder or a sledgehammer to bust through it or climb over it. And they'll find a way. They will. That's just what they do. And so, regardless, for everybody who's wondering, VRChat released a PSA telling everybody that it has not been an increase in hack attempts, and I'm actually inclined to believe that there have not been an increase in the use of exploits since they announced the release of Easy Anti-Cheat. I actually will believe that now. Obviously, it's kind of in the past because they already implemented it now. But I will tell you this. There were a lot of people who were like, there's mass hacking going on. No, there was mass crashing going on, but that was it. It's just crashers. And all of, like, the people who were like showing like, we're hacking, ha hee hee. All of the evidence that I saw was stuff that Easy Anti-Cheat wasn't going to fix, because it was all people doing crashers. Like, none of the actual hackers came out of the woodworks to actually hack VRChat until it got implemented and they brought down VRChat's servers and a website for like 9 hours. That was actual hacking. That's what they were planning. They were not planning, we're going to go crash a bunch of users and hack a bunch of users on VRChat and get a bunch of usernames. Like, that's not what those hackers do. No, those hackers, they weren't going to punish the community, because those hackers that are in VRChat, they like the VRChat community just as much as the VRChat community does. They're members of it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in there. And yeah, they do some fishy shit sometimes. And yeah, they've definitely broken some laws. And yeah, they've definitely done some shit. But at the same time, they aren't mad at the community. They're empathetic to the community. They're not going to go out there hacking and crashing people to prove VRChat wrong. No, they're going to take it to VRChat devs. And that's what they did. And so they brought down, I think VRChat, the server itself, the whole like game was down for like 45 minutes. And I think the website was down for like 9 hours. Like nothing was working for like 9 hours. And I know that like the developer portal was down for a while. So like nobody could upload new content for a while. And so that's the kind of shit that they'll do. They will do that. They're not going to punish the users. They're going to punish VRChat, because that's who they're seeing as the enemy now. Before, they were just having fun. And that's like the thing about VRChat that I think that VRChat has overlooked, right? Is before, when they were hacking VRChat, these guys, they weren't like really doing it to like hurt people. They were doing it for fun. Now they have an axe to grind. Now they're going to take it to VRChat, and they're going to make VRChat devs' lives as miserable as they possibly can, which I think is going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the next couple of months and what that's going to turn into, and see how many more users drop off of VRChat, how many more people find alternatives, how many people decide, fuck it, I'm a VRChat dev. I've been working in Unity for 9.5 years developing content for VRChat. Fuck it. Let's make our own VR game. Like, they have all the tools. They have all of the capability. They know all of the stuff. They've been working in it. They've been programming in it for years. All they need to do is they need to take those skills and learn a couple more, and they can make their own VR game. They might as well. Like, the thing is, and what's funny about it is, if somebody did that and then got on Reddit and was like, hey, yo, look at my alternative to VRChat. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. We're starting to implement this shit. Well, all they need to do is they need to do what VRChat did, which honestly, VRChat had one of the easiest jobs in the world for a while. What they did is they created a framework. They created an API basically that allowed people to program stuff for them. And then they created an integration of that into VR. That's all they did. And they create almost no original content. They leave the content creation up to almost entirely their community. Their community does almost all of their development for them. And then they just kind of sit back and relax, it appears to me. Occasionally bug fixing shit and occasionally doing dumb stuff like this. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. We'll see if somebody comes up with an alternative and starts marketing it as VRChat, classic, basically. And being like, hey, look, you can mod this, you can do what you want with this, and just see how long that lasts, and see, because I mean, like I said, there are a lot of smart people who played VRChat who were in love with the game, and I bet that they're probably working on alternatives right now, or at least working with alternatives right now, figuring out exactly how to develop a VRChat community game, or a VR community game similar to VRChat, and see, try to make it better than VRChat, and then VRChat really will die, because then everybody will be like, hey, we can just go play this and that'll be better. And VRChat will really regret. But I don't know if that'll happen. We'll see. Either that or VRChat will remove easy anti-cheat in 6 months because nobody likes them anymore. And they get sad about being whined at on the internet 24/7. Because that's what's happened. I'm sure their Twitter account right now is swamped and flooded with complaints. And that's pretty much, I know that the Reddit, I'm sure, is just coded in complaints to VRChat. And, Discord is full of complaints against VRChat too, in the VRChat servers that I'm in, that people are really upset about it. I'm wondering, because I actually haven't talked with Kato and those people in a while, because that server's mostly just quiet now. I wonder what their thoughts on it would be. I'd like to ask them. But yeah, did you have anything extra to say? Anything to add to that?
No, you pretty much had it. I do think that, you're absolutely right. They have it easy, and considering for how long they have had VRChat for and how much profit they've had, they've dropped the ball for sure, because they basically just let the community do everything for them, and then they just rake in the rewards, right? Sure, there's a lot of people who make a profit in VRChat selling avatars and worlds and shit like that. But at the end of the day, the one who needed to take the initiative to create all these quality of life things were the people who own VRChat, it was them. Why is it that the mods have to come in and quote unquote fix everything? Why why create this anti-cheat that takes away all the life of quality changes that make it even playable for people, and then not create any replacements whatsoever? Fuck?
And I know, like I said, I know that they are working on some replacements for some of the stuff, but it's just they're not gonna add replacements for everything. They're not gonna what was it called? I can't remember. The mod that allows you to grab, allow other people to grab your limbs and move them. They're not going to add that.
Yeah.
They're not going to add the quality of life stuff. They're not going to add the camera stuff as fast. They might get there eventually, but it's just slow and clunky. And it's one of those things where it's they have removed a huge amount of utility that other people added to their game, and it's gonna take them a long time. And that's the other thing is like now that, you know, and this is one of the problems is they should have started implementing these mods into their game before establishing easy anti-cheat. Yeah. And the reason why is because now they have to go through every line of code in every single one of these mods with a fine-toothed comb before even attempting to try to add it to their game. And the reason why is because, well, now people are going to be inundating them with requests to, hey, add this mod, and it's going to be a malicious one. Either it's going to be malicious against VRChat or it's going to be malicious against other users. And it's just like, I mean, I can't imagine like their decisions that they made here seem like they are so
asinine, I guess.
Yeah, asinine and not thought through. Like somebody pitched it, hey, let's implement easy anti-cheat to get rid of a bunch of this stuff that we see as a problem. And then they just made the decision to do it. And it's like they didn't really think about how that would affect their community, how that would affect their game, how that would go on to impact the overall life of their game and overall community aspects of their game. They didn't even think about that. I don't even think they knew how much backlash it would get. I think that they were aware that it would get some backlash, but I don't think they knew how many people would be upset about this, and especially how many people would be as upset about it as they are. And I mean, like, you know, it started copy pastas about hackers. It started so many problems that are social problems now, not mechanical problems with their code. It's just problems with the way that the people are interacting with each other. And that's another challenging thing is that now they've also...
Really... Go ahead, sorry.
They've broken the trust circle within the VRChat community now. Because like it used to be you could go on and most of the people on VRChat you could trust. And now it doesn't feel that way because of all like the rumors that were around. A lot of people I know who bought into the rumors because a lot of people I know don't really know how all this works. And obviously like I know hackers, I know hacking. I'm a professional in that in some instance, you know, in one way or another, preventing it technically. But because of that, it's like I am aware of how this stuff works and I am aware of how the framework works and how the API works. And I am aware of a lot of the malicious stuff that had been going on and how it worked and how it would be stopped and stuff like that. And also aware of the hacking community in VRChat and who they were and what they did and what they cared about. And what's interesting to me is all these people who were very social on VRChat in the essence of they were the kind of people who would go to full black cat lobbies to meet people. They're not doing that anymore. They're staying in their own private lobbies now because the trust with other players has been broken, because now they're worried about other players hacking them, which is something that they weren't worried about before. Even though it was happening before, now they're even more worried about it because all the rumors started. And so now it's like a lot of those people, they broke the internal trust in their own game too. Not just the trust between the community and the developers, but the trust in the community itself has been broken by this decision. And I think that's one of the things that's going to go on to affect the VRChat world the most, quite honestly. Hello?
Oh, man. Yeah. No, it's just like... What really bothers me about this whole thing too is that they knew they were gonna do this. They nobody in the VRChat team was like, oh boy, today I sure feel like pissing off our entire player base. No, they've known about this for a very, 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 very long time, and they didn't say anything. This is one day. It's like mods gone. They didn't warn everybody. And I'm sure it's like, oh, but we don't want to warn the hackers that we're about to... Yeah, but you could have worded it in such a way to be like, guys, we need to... we're not going to have mods available for a while until we solve this. You know? It's like, hey, guys, we're testing something. They could have handled the situation a lot better than this. And now they're stuck.
They could have, they would have made a lot of people mad, but honestly, it would have been better for their community to just slip it into patch. Just slip it in the patch. And then announce it after the fact. Like, I know that's like shitty to do, but it would have been more secure. It would have been better for the community. But the way that they did it is they released it, they announced it before they actually implemented it, like 2 weeks before they actually implemented it. And then VRChat imploded with rumors and problems and crashers and all sorts of crazy stuff that just happened over night, basically, once they released that. And then there were rumors about, you know, community hacking, where hackers were going to get together and hack Discord, hack VRChat accounts and steal people's accounts to go ahead and you know, punish VRChat. But just like, and that was the thing, is like, as I was hearing those rumors, I was like, but what is the purpose of that? That doesn't seem like
very constructive.
And as destructive as the hacking community is, because it is, you know, once again, they're hackers, but as destructive as they are smart. They're not dumb. And usually they are, especially post, you know, and this is one thing that gets that I can say Anonymous did do well, is post Anonymous, usually they realized, don't punish other people, punish the problem. Don't attack random stranger X because person did Z. Go to the source. Go attack who created the problem. And so because of that change in the hacking mindset, it just made no sense to me that they would go out there, that a lot of them would get together and be like, we're going to go attack the VRChat community. It didn't click with my brain, because I know a lot of hackers. That's just not how they work. 99% of them are people who they're hackers. They're good people who believe in a different layer of morality, who want to have fun. That's the majority of it. And that's fun to them. It's fun to break something. That's what they enjoy doing. It's fun to tear things down. It's fun to destroy things. And so that's what they enjoy doing. And that's why they're there. That's why they do that kind of thing. But it's just very interesting to me, because like that's not like the level of destructive. The level of destructive that they would do is something like bringing down a website, bringing down VRChat servers, trying to get in and figure out ways to punish VRChat, not punish the user base. Or at least if they're going to punish the user base, they need to be punishing the developers at the same time in a greater way than punishing the user base. Because that's just, they're very logical people. It's not really an emotional thing. It's like, it's a logical thing. They're mad, and their anger turns into cold anger, in which they're like, all right, now we're going to go to work. And that's what that's the only way they'd have to do it. Like, we're angry, we're going to go to work, because that's what they do. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. It's very socially complicated. And I don't know. We'll see what happens with the VRChat. It'll be interesting. I'm definitely going to kind of keep my finger on the buzz, because
I don't think VRChat is going anywhere anytime soon. Sure, there's going to be players who are going to quit. They're going to be angry, whatever. But a lot of these angry players, they're going to come back. You know, these are people who'll be playing, especially like users that would be angry at this kind of problem, are the same kind of user who has spent a long amount of time in VRChat, and they're very vested, maybe emotionally, maybe financially too. So I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they're going to come back once things settle down a little. They might start getting used to things, but you know, they will always have that sour, you know, taste in their mouth about what happened. And you're right. This kind of problem that arises from this anti-cheat thing, it's not a new problem. It's simply revealing a problem that's been there for a while, which is the fact that the VRChat developers, they're lazy and they don't actually want to like put the effort that the game deserves And thus, that's why the mods came to be to begin with.
Yeah.
People are mad that the mods are gone because these mods were so integral to their experience.
Yeah.
And now they don't have that anymore. Now it's not the same game for them.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
And that is also a problem that should have not been there to begin with. If they are the VRChat devs, right, and they've known about this issue for a long time.
Yeah.
Because they, again, like I said, they didn't wake up one morning and thought to themselves, "Oh, let's piss everybody off real quick."
Yeah.
No, they've known about this thing for a long time. So they've known about this shit for a long time, and then they decided to do nothing. It's like, okay, we're gonna take the mods away, but then they didn't provide any replacements. Not even for the most popular mods. They could have been like, okay, what are the top 10 features that these mods give to players that we're not doing? Let's give the players that and then take the mods away. And they didn't do any of that. Yeah. And it's not like they're like, it's not like they don't have money. It's not like they don't have support.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't have people to work on this shit. They do.
Yeah. Yeah, they really do. And I mean, I feel bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think all the camera stuff that all the streamers use, that was all mods too. So all of the VRChat streamers, they can't stream anymore. Or at least not in the same way that they were streaming before.
Not in the same manner, yeah.
Yeah, they have to stream from their POV only. They can't do the third person POV stuff that they used to do.
No, the camera is but it's not an output anymore, right?
Yeah, it's not an output anymore because that was a mod, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong.
No.
And that might be something that they implemented because they realized, oh god, people won't be able to stream anymore. Or at least they won't be able to do the things that they used to do on stream. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that is...
yeah, that would be kind of fucked up, Let's say that you're a content creator who's completely invested in VRChat. Your entire livelihood depends on the income that you make out of creating content for VRChat. And then all of a sudden, gone. That shit's gone.
I need to check with Adjakar and with... who's the other one? I don't know. I need to check with those two people. I know two VRChat streamers where their full-time job is Twitch streaming and they stream VRChat literally 8 hours a day.
Guess what would be great? It would be great if there could be guests on the podcast.
Yeah, maybe. I'll talk to them about it. I don't know. They have bigger followings. I don't know if they'd be cool with coming onto a podcast that has one viewer who happens to be the moderator and is also on the podcast. But I can talk to them about it.
Rant about this whole thing.
It's true. It's just a
it would be an interesting.
So,
it would be a great thing to kind of document.
Yeah.
It's here is a person whose livelihood depended on VRChat and the content that they created in VRChat, and then all of a sudden they have the entire world basically flip upside down out of left field.
And they have to try to do things completely differently than they were doing before. They have to figure out different loopholes to use, and it's just I don't know how they'll do it. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I need to check up on them. I haven't. I don't think I've talked with them in a hot minute because I haven't been on VRChat in a hot minute. But yeah,
I think the way you should sell it to them would be more like, "Hey guys, we kind of want to record this, for prosperity's sake, for the history books, maybe you can use that angle."
Yeah. But yeah, it's very interesting. It's It's wild. It's a crazy world. We'll see. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah. Any other news? Anything else interesting that you wanted to talk about this podcast?
No, man. I think we pretty much hit everything.
I think we covered it all. Well,
yeah, it's been 2 hours now.
Yeah, I have you gone live this week?
I did.
Yeah, you did. You did. Okay.
I did.
I was like, I think I saw the Discord notification. I don't remember. Anyways, shout out your Twitch and your Twitter.
I still not using my Twitter because I've been
Fine,
waiting
I'm not using mine either.
I've been waiting for my model to like. The first things I'm gonna start tweeting are the teasers to the model and the announcement for when the debut would be. But guess what? Now I don't know. Even if I do get the finished render of the model, who fucking knows when the rigging will be done? So now I've been thrown for a loop. But my Twitch would be located in twitch.tv/Halleck25. I was hoping that by today I would actually rebrand to a different name. It would still be Halleck, but instead of a number, I would use something else. But for the time being, it is Halleck25 at twitch.tv.
Lovely. Lovely.
There you can find a link to my Discord, in which I announce when I go live. And
there's
that's about it for
also
now.
A link to both of our Discords and both of our Twitches below the video and the Spotify. Please, or in the podcast in any form, please go ahead and click those. Come join us, interact with us. We're both fairly...
Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Okay. I crashed for a second. Hold on a second. We're going to get everything back up again. Should only take me 2 seconds. Anyways, so yeah, not that one. No, not that one. There we go. Okay. Cool. Okay, so anyways, you can find both of our Twitches, both of our Discords below, as well as a couple of links to other stuff if you follow the podcast via other things. If you're here on my Twitch and you're watching this video, there are also links in my profile to Halleck's, as well as a couple of other streamers who have been on the podcast, and just other streamers who are my friends in the like suggested streamers section. Go ahead and please go follow them, check them out. They're really fun people. They don't stream super regularly, but they're really awesome. Anyways, once again, you can find me, twitch.tv/CthulhuTilly. Discord link is down below. Anything else you have to say before we leave?
No. No, we're good.
I created a Chatting in the Void TikTok and a Chatting in the Void Twitch, or Twitter, not Twitch, and a Chatting in the Void Instagram, I believe. I have yet to upload anything to those because I have had a crazy couple of weeks, but I'm hoping to be able to start uploading some teasers, uploading stuff like that. Hopefully doing some stuff to kind of get more going here. But yeah, thank you for joining the podcast today. And thank you for all the viewers. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us in the Void.
Goodbye.
We appreciate you listening to Chatting in the Void with Cthulhu, Tilly, and Halleck. You can find a video version of our podcast on YouTube and our audio podcast anywhere where podcasts are found. Go give Halleck a follow at twitch.tv/Halleck25 and catch our podcast live at 7 p.m. EST every other Saturday. Have a wonderful day, or night, or whatever. Thank you for joining us in the Void. Hope to see you next time.